Hi everyone, it's Chelsea. Excuse my voice, I'm a bit sick right now, but I just wanted to sit down and do a video today on some anecdotes from my childhood. So the time period you should be thinking of is around when I was 7 to 10 years old. This is when all of this happened. Yeah, pretty sure it's 7 to 10 years old. And there's like some construction going on outside, so if you hear like a buzzing sound, that's what it is. Sorry about that. But yeah, let's just, hop right into it. Imagine me, little Chelsea, a wee little lass growing up in South Korea. And this is all the things that, all the experiences that I had growing up as a child. Well, not all of them, but some of them that I'm gonna tell you right now. So the first one I wanted to mention was anything to do with me sleeping. Okay, so sleep is really important to every human being on this planet, but more so for me. I love to sleep. Everyone who knows me knows this for a fact. I'm the kind of person that stops replying in the middle of a text conversation because I fell asleep. I miss events, I miss big events, I miss hanging out with my friends, or I'm really late to hang out with my friends because I'm asleep, and I just like sleeping, and it's a symptom of a larger problem, but we're not gonna get into that in this video. So when I was a kid, I went to a school that was really far away, so I had to wake up at around 5 a.m. to catch the bus to go to school, and my body, I just could not physically wake up at such an early hour. So my parents wanted to make sure that I was well fed before I went off to school. So instead of trying to wake me up for breakfast, because it was impossible, because I just would not wake up, I would just keep asking for 5 more minutes until all they had time to do was get me dressed and go out the door. So the way around that was they fed me cereal as I was lying down sleeping. I don't know how I didn't choke during any of those instances, but for some reason I just chewed, I swallowed, I waited for the next spoonful, and my eyes were closed during this entire thing. And just props to my parents for being so dedicated and making sure that I had something to eat before I went to school. But there were times also when they would mess with me, not intentionally, but they would try to make me eat healthier. So they would switch out my Cocoa Puffs for like corn flakes, or like whatever healthy alternative there was to kids cereal. And they would add soy milk to it, which I hated with a passion, and they knew this. So they would try to trick me into eating this healthy cereal alternative with soy milk. And it's like at first, like the first couple of bites, I would kind of just go along with it because I'm asleep. I mean, I'm like not 100% asleep, but then my body and my mind are just not, conscious of most of the things that were going on. But then after like the third spoonful, I would like kind of come to my senses and be like, this tastes disgusting, what is this? And I would wake up and protest, and I would just go to school without eating anything that day, because my parents were like, okay, you don't want to eat this, then you're going to go to school starving. Which, I mean, it's not like they starved me, it's just that they knew I ate at school, and they packed snacks and stuff for me, so they knew I'm not gonna go hungry. It's just, they tried their best to make me eat healthy stuff, like every parent does. Another thing is sleepwalking and talking in my sleep. My parents really had fun dealing with this because they thought it was hilarious that I talked in my sleep, that I was sleepwalking. And my mom, when she would hear me mumbling like in my room because I slept with the door open, she would like come in and like ask me questions, And of course I don't remember our actual conversation anymore, but she would ask me questions and I would respond with something totally unrelated to what she just asked me, and she would just like chuckle to herself, and she would tell me this the next morning and we would have a laugh about it. And my dad would sometimes sneak in, and the thing is, at that time, well, still now I speak Korean and English and a little bit of Tagalog, but at that time I didn't speak any Tagalog whatsoever. So my dad would kind of like come in, talk to me in Korean. I would respond both in English and Korean, or sometimes mix the words together so that it doesn't make any sense. And they just loved it. They loved when I, would talk in my sleep. And I still do. Very rarely. My boyfriend tells me sometimes I mumble in my sleep, but then I don't, like, he doesn't really make out any words. But yeah, like that happens. That my parents really enjoyed that. And sleepwalking, this they found absolutely hilarious, and they would tell their friends about it and everything, and all my relatives, about how I would sleepwalk to the bathroom. They would be usually watching late night news, and I would come out of my room with my eyes closed and kind of just like go to the bathroom and go do my business. And I would be there for a while, and they would be like, they won't be hearing anything. So then they would go check up on me, and I'm like slumped over the toilet, 100% asleep. They would just carry me back into my bed, and I would have no recollection of doing that the next morning, and they would just be like laughing their asses off, telling me the story. And yeah, I mean, I was a very entertaining kid for my parents. So, well, I'm glad I was, because other times I was a pain in the ass. So, another thing I used to do was I had a little store. I had like an entrepreneur like streak in me when I was a kid. Like I was like really business minded when I was a kid for some reason. So what I would do is I would take things from my parents or just around the house, like vitamins, like really random things, vitamins, like my mother's jewelry, my dad's ties, like spoons and whatever, just whatever I find lying around the house. I would put them in my room, put price tags on them, and I wouldn't give them back until my parents paid for it. And I would have like a little jewelry box as my cash register, so my parents had to pay me real adult money to get their stuff back. It's like stealing. It was like stealing and them having to pay. It's like me kidnapping their, their belongings and putting a ransom on their heads. And my parents always just paid because they didn't want to sit there and argue with me about how it was wrong. And which they should have, because it was wrong. It wasn't my things. My parents paid for it. And like they would pay 3,000 won, which is like around $3 for their vitamins back, or like 5,000 won for my mom's bracelet back. And they thought it was funny in a way. They thought it was precocious, that I was so business-minded. They were always joking about how I was going to be this big businessman, a business person when I grew up, and it was just bizarre. And one day they finally sat me down and said, "Chelsea, we can't keep doing this. These are our things. Like, if you want to sell something, either make it yourself and sell it to us, or something like buy something and mark it up and then we'll buy it from you. But don't take things that we already own." So I was like, fine, whatever, I guess I was wrong, I'm sorry. But I still kept all the money that they gave me. So with that advice, I didn't buy it. I asked my parents for this bead kit to make accessories from. So I made jewelry using this kit. I would make rings, bracelets, necklaces, anklets, what have you, and I would sell them at school. I had price ranges and everything. I made jewelry on commission. My friends would tell me what they would want, what beads they want, like what arrangements, what size, and I would make it for them for a price. And I tried to, you know, sell it to my parents, and of course they bought some just to humor me, but they obviously aren't going to go around wearing bead bracelets that like a 7-year-old made. But my parents were just so supportive of me growing up, and you know, it was great. Another thing is I loved writing letters. Well, I loved writing in general, which is why I still do, obviously. For anyone who knows me, they know that my thing is writing. But I used to love writing letters, so I had this like post office system in my house, just within my house, where I had this like wicker basket that I would write letters to my parents in, put them in the basket, and they would take it out and read it. And my parents, being the hard-working adults they were, did not have time to sit there and write me back, which I personally felt so affronted by, and just so like insulted that they didn't have time to write letters to their daughter. But looking back, it's like I can't believe they had time to cook and clean with how much they were working. As an adult, you know, I appreciate what they did for me even more because I'm in this situation now. I can't imagine supporting myself and a child, even if I had, you know, a husband to help out, because they had no time for each other or themselves. It was all about me. And I'm so appreciative of that. And my mom watches my channel. Mom, if you're watching, thank you so much. I love you so much. I don't tell you this as often as I should, but I appreciate and love you for everything that you've done for me. I love you. And you guys should tell that to your mothers as well. Come on, guys. Give them some love. So, eventually, afterwards, I was just so like angry and mad that I never got letters back. I was always the one sending letters, that I sat my parents down and made this dramatic speech about how my time is precious too. You're not the only ones that are busy. I have homework, you know, I have soccer practice. I don't have to be doing this. I was only doing this to be nice, but now I'm going to cut you guys off from my letters. And they did their best to look, you know, disappointed. But I'm sure they were relieved because they didn't have that pressure anymore to write me back when they had a lot of other stuff going on in their lives. But yeah, that's pretty much all the anecdotes that I have from my childhood for today. I have a lot more. Maybe I'll make another video along the lines of this in the future. But if you watched till the end, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it kind of gave you an insight into, you know, mini Chelsea growing up in South Korea. So yeah, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!